The sanctuary movement was a religious and political campaign that began in the early 1980s to provide safe haven for Central American refugees fleeing civil conflict. It responded to restrictive federal immigration policies that made obtaining asylum difficult for Central Americans. Movement members acted in open defiance of the federal law, and many prominent sanctuary figures were arrested and put on trial in the mid to late 1980s. The roots of the movement derive from the right of sanctuary and medieval law in Judeo-Christian social teachings. Today in Denver, Colorado, the Chadash Community United Church of Christ, the first Unitarian Society of Denver, the American Friends Service Committee, the Mountain View Friends Meeting, Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and First Universalist Church of Denver all gathered to announce the formation of a sanctuary community for immigrants fleeing federal prosecution. I spoke to the pastor, who told me he did not think immigration authorities wanted the horrible publicity they're about to get should they decide to raid a sanctuary community. Most people know immigration reform failed in the U.S. Congress, especially the House of Representatives, where a very stubborn Republican minority is holding the law up from a vote that surely would pass. More recently, President Barack Obama announced that he was going to delay implementation of a type of deferred status, which will slow down prosecutions and reduce deportations, leaving the Democrats also appearing to be playing politics with the lives of immigrants. Today's event was nothing short of extraordinary, including an appearance by the Romero Troupe and one of its stars, Jeanette Vizquera, who sent chills and tears into the hearts of many people listening. We have highlights from today's events.
My daughter and I were separated for the first time at the border. I had no way of knowing that she arrived with family in Colorado safely. This was the beginning of a struggle that has come to define my life and my calling. My first bit of activism in the U.S. was to organize fellow janitors, to help others find the strength to speak up against exploitation. The workers were afraid that if we organized, we'd lose our jobs. I said that if we didn't organize, we'd lose our dignity. This led me to commit 13 years as a volunteer organizer for Rights for All People. Then came the night that changed my life. I was pulled over in Arapahoe County.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Your driver's license, please. Registration.
¿Por qué me está deteniendo?
I don't speak the language. I need your driver's license and your registration.
Necesito saber por qué me está
Do you have
deteniendo.
papers?
¿Dónde va?
Come on, you're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Jeanette Vizquera y esto es una historia real que atravesamos los inmigrantes en este país, pero también durante nuestros procesos de deportación.
Good afternoon, my name is Jeanette Vizquera, and this is the story of myself and many immigrants who come to this country.
Buenas tardes a todos, mi nombre es Guadalupe López. Les voy a contar un poquito de mi historia, lo que está pasando en este momento con mi familia.
Good afternoon, my name is Guadalupe Lopez, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of what is happening right now with my family.
Yo llegué aquí a la edad de 16 años. Venía huyendo de la extrema pobreza y del acoso sexual de mi jefe.
I arrived here when I was 16 years old. I came escaping extreme poverty and sexual abuse by my boss.
La vida es muy difícil. Yo tuve que dejar a mi familia en Guatemala.
Life there is very difficult. and I had to leave my family in Guatemala.
Welcome. Thank you all for being here. We are deeply grateful for this gathering of the community as we prepare to share an important announcement, publicly declaring our collective commitment to stand together and to walk in solidarity with our immigrant sisters and brothers. I'm Reverend Tisa Roberts, cultivating co-pastor of Chadash Community, United Church of Christ.
Bienvenido, gracias por venir aquí. Estamos abundantemente llenos de emoción por este juntamiento de la comunidad, mientras que preparamos a compartir una noticia muy importante, declarando públicamente nuestro compromiso colectivo de parar juntos con y caminar codo a codo en solidaridad con nuestras hermanas y hermanos inmigrantes. Soy la reverenda Tisa Roberts, la co-pastor de Chadash Community, United Church of Christ.
And I'm Reverend Kirsten Homblett, beloved community coordinator at the Mountain Desert District of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Would you please join us in opening our time together in prayer?
Favor de juntarse con nosotras en abrir nuestro tiempo juntos en oración. So now I want to introduce the Reverend Mike Moran, who is the pastor here at First Unitarian, who's going to talk a little bit about why they decided to answer the call today.
Stars. This is our affirmation we speak in our worship space every single week at the close of our worship service. It articulates for me what I believe is a foundational spiritual truth, which is that there is no us and them in this world. There is only us in our myriad colors and shapes and sizes and languages. The mystery at the heart of the universe that some of us call God does not care what documents you have or do not have, does not care what country you were born in, does not care about the color of your skin, does not care what language you speak. Yet we live in a country that does not realize this great spiritual truth that binds us all and holds us and heals us. We live in a country that treats some people very, very differently than it treats other people, for reasons that I believe are impossible to justify and relatively easy to fix. That's why I'm here. And otherwise, who say that the time is not right, who say we should wait until after the elections, or that fences and borders and SWAT teams are any kind of a solution to this problem. I have to say this to you. I'm sorry, but you don't understand what you're doing. You don't understand the nature of the problem. You are not appreciating the people who are suffering. You are not living up to your own responsibility of governing for our country, for our families, for our people, for justice. Get to work and fix this.
Present Reverend Ann Dunlap, who is with Chadash Community, which is the other hosting congregation. Quiero presentar a la Reverenda Ann Dunlap.
Good afternoon, buenas tardes. I'm Reverend Ann Dunlap, cultivating co-pastor of Chadash Community UCC in Aurora, whose mission is to cultivate peace and embody justice on the ground, in the ground, and underground. Soy la Reverenda Ann Dunlap, co-pastora cultivante de Comunidad Chadash. Nuestra misión es cultivar paz y encarnar justicia sobre la tierra, en la tierra, y bajo la tierra. Chadash Community is honored to respond to the invitation from our immigrant sisters and brothers to become a sanctuary host congregation and one of the founders of the Metro Denver Sanctuary Coalition. Comunidad Chadash se siente honrada a responder a la invitación de nuestras hermanas y nuestros hermanos inmigrantes para hacernos una congregación hospedora de santuario y uno de los fundadores de la coalición de santuario de Metro Denver. Chadash holds the embodiment of sanctuary as a core value, honoring and protecting the dignity of all people and providing shelter for body and spirit in our community, particularly those who are most marginalized. This value is deeply rooted in our Christian tradition, which teaches us that love has no borders and that proper papers are never required in order to value human worth and dignity. Chadash sostiene el encarnar santuario como un valor clave, el honrar y proteger la dignidad de todas y todos y proveer hospedaje para cuerpo y espíritu en nuestra comunidad, particularmente con quienes son más marginadas y marginados. Este valor tiene raíces profundas en nuestra tradición cristiana que nos enseña que el amor no tiene fronteras y que nunca se requiere papeles para poder valorar el valor y dignidad humana.